The show is made possible in part by its supporting sponsors: Blue Water Power Group of Companies, Joe's Discount Tire, and AskGuy.ca. I'm in a cozy room here today with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while, and I've been talking about that every week. I'm like reconnecting with a lot of people. Kelly Graham, how you doing? Nice to see you. It's good to see you. We were just talking before we started, it's probably been at least a couple of years since we in person saw each other.
Yeah. Before COVID, I think.
Yeah. Right? So, during. I think you came by the house on your bicycle at one time.
Maybe I did, yes. Yeah. I do remember that, yeah.
And that's been, I think Jennifer said she's run into you.
Like summer. Yeah. Summer of 2020. Like yeah. Wow. That's so crazy. How
how you doing?
Great.
You seem like you're doing great.
Yeah.
Right? Life's changed a lot for you over the last few years with COVID and life in general. Mm-hmm. But you seem like you're in a positive world. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get to what you're doing right now because I'm not surprised, knowing you as long as I have, to see you use the word free spirit. Mm-hmm. Would that describe you all over as a whole?
I think so.
Free spirit? Yeah.
I think so.
Not looking for fancy cars and big mansions?
Not at all.
No, that's cool. No. Let's go back to, everybody will probably laugh. Oh, he's going to ask this question about school, but it's a defining moment usually in life for people. So, like, were you born and raised in Sarnia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And what did your parents do?
My parents, well, initially my mom stayed home with us kids, and then she did babysit some kids. Okay. And then she also worked in the bakery in Sunripe. Yeah. And so, as you know, she makes delicious
I miss your cookies. I know. Maybe I should interview her and just get some cookies out of it. Yeah.
And I just had my birthday, and she said, "Do you want cake or cookies?" Because I love her chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. So she made me a giant square chocolate chip cookie, and she wrote on it just like you'd write on a cake.
Right.
So it's very cute.
Of course she did.
It's very cute.
That's awesome.
So I'm working my way through that.
Yeah, right. Is there any left? I want some before I go. And what about your dad?
My dad was a meat cutter.
Yeah. I've had I know both of them, and they're great people. I haven't seen them in a while either. No. I casually bumped into them somewhere. I can't remember, but isn't it funny how that's happened? So then, moving forward, school.
Yes.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Divine Street Public School. Yeah, I actually really liked it. It was a smallish school, and I had lots of friends, and a lot of good memories from there.
That's good.
And then I went to Skits.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah. I was in the band. Yeah. And that was, my main, I wasn't really into sports or anything, but so the band was my main.
That's what's the thing about high school. You're either in the band, you're in sports, or in the smoking area.
That's true.
That's true. Right? It's true,
it's
right?
True. It's so true.
Were you sad, or are you sad about the whole Skits building, trying to be saved, and then it wasn't, and now it's something else? Or were you just like, no, that's life, that's history?
I think more at the time, I guess, it looks like something new is going in there, and it looks like it's going to continue to be a school. So, I guess that's exciting that it's going to be used. Yeah. And not just like torn down or become derelict. Right. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's just such a big building too, right?
Is.
Was that intimidating going to that school?
I'd say I was pretty introverted and really shy. Yeah. So it was actually pretty terrifying.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Because you said,
and I can tell you later on how I kind of came out of my shell.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Oh, you can't tell us here.
Well, I can. No. I can tell you later in the story.
Okay, sure. Well, we're at that.
I was pretty introverted until I did some theater.
Oh,
and I think that really helped to bring me out of my.
How'd you get into that?
How'd I get into theater?
The theater, yeah. Like, would somebody say you should do this?
Actually, it was my daughter. She was my influence. She did some theater camps and then got involved with the youth at the theater at Theater Sarnia. And then she was, I don't know, think it
So
looked
you
like
mean years later, past high school?
Yeah. Oh yeah, way past high school.
But in high school, you were terrified.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was, even though I was in the band and I did a little singing in the Skits Review,
you said you had lots of friends?
Completely. But they were band friends, so we all had lots in common.
One day at band camp.
Yeah, this one day at band camp.
Wow, I would have never would have thunk that of you.
No,
just because I know you personally. And we've hung out and done karaoke and stuff. Right. So, okay, continue on with that story then. What was
it just looked like she was having so much fun. So I thought, and I'd have to drive her to her various events, and I thought, I should try out for this. So I actually, it was right after, I did move away from Sarnia when I first got married.
Okay.
And then we lived in various places, and then London for 9 years.
Right.
And then when we had kids, we just made our way back to Sarnia.
Yeah, well, some people do that.
Yeah, and so when I moved back to Sarnia, it was around 1998, and I don't really know where in the grand scheme of things I thought, I'm going to audition for a play.
Okay.
And I didn't get a part. That was way back when.
Yeah.
And but I did help out like with some costuming and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
again, it
Your
was
creative side.
Yeah. And then in 2011, was it 2011? I think that's actually when the show was. Anyway, it was my 40th birthday. It was right on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
I auditioned for a show.
What show was that?
It was Cinderella.
Really?
And I believe it was in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got the part?
And I got a part in the chorus, and it was a musical. So, and then that's kind of what started it. And I think I did theater. I think the last show I did was in 2018. So.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
So I did, yeah.
So thanks to the daughter.
Yeah.
Right? And what's her name?
Kyla.
And then you have a son as well.
Yes, Cameron. Yeah.
Right. So. And they're both doing their own thing now, like they're grown. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does she do?
She works at a store in the mall.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Loves it.
Yeah.
Gets her creative side.
Right. Does she get that from you or Dad?
I would say a little bit of both, but probably, I don't know. She has a very unique eye. Even more so than she can. She just notices the details of everything.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm more of a big picture person, but she just notices. We could be driving down the road and she could be like, look at that bird and that tree and that, like, she would just zero
over
right.
there.
Yeah, exactly. She would
right,
just zero right in on something like that.
Cool.
But yeah, so it's interesting.
She's good. And Cam, what's he do?
He's looking for a job right now.
Yeah.
He kind of helps out. But he's,
Small jobs here and there.
Yeah.
He's working his way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Right on. So now, so school, wow, geez, that's really interesting to me. Because, like I say, just because I've known you so long, I would have thought,
And I would even honestly say that I didn't really come out of my shell probably till the last few years.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't let myself.
Oh, okay. You felt held back? Or you held yourself back,
Yes.
kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, the theater, but then outside of that, there has to be something else that brought you out then.
Well, I've been on a spiritual journey since about 2007.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
Just getting more and more curious about myself and just, what's my place in this universe? What's my purpose? You know, lots of people have those kinds of questions.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm here right now, but like, where am I going? Right.
And
that's always been that's the free spirit side of you. I've always seen that in you, and you've had some different opportunities. Like let's talk about some business stuff. Like
Sure.
you worked from home for a while, for years. What was that?
I worked from home. I did teach yoga.
Yeah.
And I did reflexology for 10 years. So I did that, yoga, and I, like in 2007, I started sort of a journey. I learned Reiki and like energy work.
Yeah.
So I did a bit of that in my home.
How did you like that? I've had an experience with that, and I was really, well, I wasn't too keen on the experiment, I guess it was. They were like, David, you know, I was at this thing, and they were like, we want to do this to you. I'm like, okay. And wow, that was, like, I'll never forget it. It was really quite a journey, and that was only in about 20 minutes. It wasn't even regular. So how did you come about that?
How did I come about it? I think just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And you know, I took the Reiki level 1 class, and so I think it really, I don't know, was sort of a catalyst for a lot of this self-discovery stuff. And, you know, and then I just had this thirst for knowledge, so I'd read books, and as you can tell by behind me, I have tons of books.
Yeah, you've always been a reader.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I just had a thirst for knowledge, and I just kept learning new things and new techniques, and just learned a lot more about the energy side of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
you've been able to go and take a lot of different paths on things and be able to explore, I guess. And that's, I guess, what makes a big part of who you are to where you are right now. And, you know, kids are grown. I guess a lot of times when that happens, we tend to think a little more of ourselves now, right? You know, because kids take a lot of our time, and we have to do all that stuff. So, do you have a plan? Like, you know, we always say you got to have a roadmap to the journey or whatever. Like, do you have an idea of where you're going, or are you just going? Like, you're going, I'm going to go here, but I don't like that. I'm going to go over here. And
not a concrete plan.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Probably in about, well, it was actually a sort of one of the big moments in my journey was probably in about 2018. After I did reflexology for about 9 years, my hands said, you're done.
Right.
And I really loved doing reflexology.
Right.
I loved the one-on-one. I loved chatting with people. And you know, and now looking back, I was doing energy work.
Right.
There's that exchange, right? And I just love, you know, helping people. I'm a helper.
Yeah, you've always been.
And so that was really hard for me, because that was one of my big pieces of my identity. So
you discovered it.
Well, I mean, I realized
Yeah.
when I had to give it up, that I was like, oh, well, who am I now?
Right.
Now that I don't have this part of me, right? So there's been lots of moments since then, because
Trying to fill that gap.
I kind of had to give up yoga because I had an injury, so I couldn't teach that anymore.
Wow, you're on a roll there.
I know.
That had to be frustrating for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really hard. Yeah.
Did you have some like big down moments through that where you were just like, ugh?
I did, but to be honest, this is something that I've really, really recently discovered about myself, is that I never really allowed myself to feel things.
Oh, really?
And I'm a very upbeat, and I'm just like, I'm probably one of the most optimistic people out there.
Yeah, I would give you that one for sure. Yeah.
And, you know, to say a negative thing. No, I'm not saying a negative thing, right?
Right, yeah.
But they have their place. You know, I've since learned that things that...
I don't like to complain, but sometimes I still do.
Right, right.
Quoting Joe Walsh there. But...
So...
Yeah, I know, I hear you.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a learning curve for me, to be like, no, it's okay to feel crappy in this situation.
It is. Just don't... I have a friend of mine who said, it's okay to be depressed. Just don't stay there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I say the very same thing. Yeah.
One of the things that you taught me, and I still use to this day, and she knows what I'm going to say, but when I see negative, like on Facebook, and you know me, I really don't do negative either. If I see negative on my Facebook, I just go delete. But the Beatles figured it out. All you need is love. And I remember years ago, I was probably having some troubled times, and that's what you said. You said, well, you know, Dave, all you need is love. Mm-hmm. And I remember I remember the moment, because I kind of remember first going, oh, whatever. And then I walked away, and very quickly I went, wow, she's not wrong. So are we missing that in this world right now? Is there too much negative and not enough? All you need is love. Do we need to bring the Beatles back?
And ironically enough,
yeah,
I was doing some yard work for a friend today.
Okay.
And on the outside of her shed,
all you need is love.
All you need is love.
Well,
and I kind of chuckled to myself because I knew I was
kind of our
seeing
little
you
thing,
tonight.
right? We have our little thing here. Right? It's
I almost
true.
sent you a picture of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you should have. But it's true,
I got
right?
a good chuckle. Yeah.
And it's such a simple philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why don't we implement it more? What are we missing out there?
I think we are coming around to that.
Are we? Yeah.
I think we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why there is so much chaos in the world right now. Is because things are changing
I see.
rapidly. And
well, it got really quiet there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what's a good analogy? I can't really think of a good analogy, but
okay. Pardon me.
The last little bits of negativity, and I'm not saying the last little bits, like we could be 10 years away from,
yeah.
But I'm just
20.
saying that, I'm just saying that things are really shaken up because we're moving away from that, and the negativity is just like, oh, don't forget about us over here, right? So it's
you did that. Well, this comes up in these conversations a lot too. Is COVID really shook things up as far as I don't know about you, but I have some friends that I've known for 100 years, and I went, really? You think that way? Wow. Or, the colors came true. Would you agree with that?
Colors came true. I think there was a lot of polarization. Like a lot of us versus them.
Yeah.
And I really just tried to be respectful of whatever your opinion was.
You're over here, you're over there. Were we divided, like either that way or that way? And that was it? There's not 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways? It was.
I don't know. It was pretty, I don't know. In my opinion, it was pretty divided.
It was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
I thought so
too. I didn't really think that there was a whole lot in the middle. Especially during the whole fear of the beginning part. And
yeah, we didn't know.
Because no one knew.
We were like, what the?
Yeah. And so everybody's scared, everybody's losing their jobs, and
I didn't hug my kids for a while.
I know.
It was like...
I didn't even see my kids.
Right?
I lived alone. Okay, so this probably is a good segue.
Sure. Here we go.
So at the latter part of 2019, I left my marriage of 28 years.
Okay.
And then in December of 2019, did I say 2019?
Yep.
Yeah, so 2019. So in December of 2019, I moved out on my own for the first time in my 50 years.
Holy crap.
Like the first time ever of living on my own.
Yeah.
So I lived in my own apartment, and then COVID hit. So then I was not just learning to adjust to live on my own, I was learning to adjust isolated on my own.
Yeah. Kind of
so
bang bang.
That was huge. That was huge. And I would have to say my spirituality, my meditation practice, that really helped me get through.
Yeah. That was a learning time then.
It was a very learning time.
Right?
It was a very learning.
Time.
Very scary, very learning time. And it actually helped me to step out of the box. I had done like a little bit of like my own meditation.
Yep.
But I'd never like taught it to anybody or anything like that. And I've been in groups where we do like Reiki sharing and
I've seen some of
energy
your
work,
posts, right?
stuff like that.
Was that a part of Unearth Your Essence that you have, or?
Yes, it is a part of it.
Yeah.
But I had like a group environment that I would go to, but I would kind of help out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I wasn't really the facilitator or leader.
Yeah.
In that instance.
Right.
But I actually, during COVID, everybody was doing the online thing. I actually, jumped online and I actually facilitated some women's groups, some circle groups.
I remember seeing that.
And we do meditation, we do a little bit of energy work, and it just helped to bring people together when we couldn't be together.
Right. How are we going to be together when we're not? Even for introverts, right? Like that was
for sure.
As introverted as a person can be, we still need that physical attachment, belly to belly, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
So what did that teach you about? I mean, because there's a lot going on. I mean, when you leave a marriage, however that looks like, there's a lot of emotion going on there. There's a lot of finance and figuring it all out, the kids and everything.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of all of that, you're learning to be on your own because you guys were like together since like what?
Yeah, we were together for 35 years.
Right. So from high school kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you hadn't lived on your own.
No.
So you didn't learn those skills,
no.
Right?
Well, I mean, I guess the skills were there, but I'd never been by myself, right?
You cooked.
I've always been with other people.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, exactly.
And then goodness knows what else is all mixed. And then put that all in a pot and go like this and mix it all together and try to keep your sanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there was some days where I literally wrote a list of things that I could do when I felt down.
Oh, yeah?
And I put it right beside my light switch on my wall.
Yeah.
And if I was going down the spiral, I would just look at that list and be like, okay, I have these tools. Sometimes you forget. Even if you know all the tools, you forget them.
That's why you should write it down, right?
And that's why I wrote it down and I posted
Jennifer's laughing right now as I tell her and Jason all the time, oh, you forgot it. You should write that down, write it down. So that was a little... Yeah, but that's true, though. So you had it by the light switch. And so what was one of the things on there that you would do?
Meditation.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
a good one.
Definitely. Right. That was a huge one. I did... like a lot of meditation during COVID. I mean, we had time.
There was a lot of there was a lot of reasons to meditate, I'm sure. Right?
I did a lot of nature. I would pretty much. I'm sorry, I wasn't one of those people that stayed home, but hopefully I didn't.
I don't think you can go to jail for it now.
Impact anyone. I didn't cause any accident, like it was. Yeah. But I also took up running during, and that really helped with my mental health.
Yeah.
So
exercise is a big part
that.
of
that
There's that word,
huge.
Mental health.
Yes.
I'd like to dig a little deeper on that if I can. It comes up in every interview, and that's why I like to try to expand on it because we're still trying to stomp that stigma. If you break your leg, you go to the doctor. If you have trouble with mental health, you go to the doctor. You should be able to.
Yeah.
How did you that was how you dealt with it, was the meditation and the tools that you had, and but what about the kids, and what about dealing with them through COVID? They were already kind of on their own, right? But still, you were missing that piece. Were they missing you? I don't mean that like we miss you, Mom. But did they struggle? Did you struggle together?
They seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of checking in, that sort of thing.
Especially in the beginning, probably.
Yeah. And hopefully, I checked in enough. But, we have...
You'd know if you were checking in too much because they probably would have told you.
Right.
Mom.
Well,
but that's okay. Right?
I asked my son because he lived alone at the time. My daughter lived with her boyfriend. So that, at least she had someone. But my son, he lived alone. So I said to him, hey, while this is going on, do you want to, move in with me and then we can be our own bubble, right?
Yeah.
And, well, can I swear on your podcast? Because...
Well...
No, I'm kidding.
He was like, hell no.
Yeah, that was his answer.
Hell to the no.
Yeah, that was his answer.
Okay.
That was exactly his answer.
We haven't dropped the F-bombs here yet,
hell
but it's gonna happen. Well, Mom, I love you, but...
Yeah. No, it was just a straight hell no. Anyway.
That's Cammy, straightforward.
Yeah. So, that was a good chuckle.
Okay, well,
that was a good
right?
chuckle. So I'm like, okay, you're obviously doing fine.
Okay. You don't need me anymore. Okay, I guess. But that's, it sounds like you have a good relationship with your children, that you can at least ask those questions, and they can be honest back. Hell no. Sorry.
Yeah. So it was a kind of a tumultuous time for everyone, and not just COVID, but the breakup of me and their dad, and it wasn't just one thing going on. So it was a big time for all of us.
Sure.
And I probably have to say that I really, really focused inward on myself. Not that I was ignoring anybody, but I really had to just for
the first time.
Probably.
Yeah.
For my own self.
Like in a deep way, yeah.
For my own self-preservation, I just had to be like, I can't help you right now because I'm helping myself.
Good for you for saying it out loud, right? Because did you probably felt, at least, I went through previous marriage too, right? And it was all like, feel guilty because of the kids, or feel guilty because I failed. There's all of that, and all that mixed emotion that goes on, right?
For sure.
So, but you've gotten through that.
Yeah.
And you seem like you've gotten through it because you tell the story very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can hear it from somebody, and look at you smiling.
And it's pretty much when my adventure started.
Yeah.
Because I lived on my own for 1 and a bit years.
Yeah.
And then I decided to sell pretty much half of what I owned, all my furniture, and I bought a trailer, and I decided I was going to...
I remember looking at going, what is she doing?
Yeah, so I lived in my camping trailer for the summer, and then for 2 winters, I stayed with a family, a friend, with a family, and I helped her out with the kids in the house, and that was like our winter agreement. She had gone back to school, so she needed some help. So I really, really, that was like a huge thing. Yeah. And after living on your own, and then to be with like a little busy household again, it was kind of like refreshing, and it was a nice balance. And so I feel like I'm saying, not even just saying yes to things I want to do, but I'm curating my life to how I want to live it.
Well, it's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
right.
I know. But I didn't always do that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I didn't always do that.
I think I
wasn't always brave enough to do that.
Yeah, right. I think a lot of people are in a place where they're like, and brave, like you said, to be able to go, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And unleash the Pandora's box of Kelly Graham, right? And here we go. But it's been a positive journey for you, right? I mean, overall, that's just part of the growing. For sure. Everybody's story looks a little bit different. But you're healthy and you're happy. And well, I'll get to that question in a minute. Where are you now, right, with this journey? Like you work at a campground, or talk about?
So in the summer, I work at a conservation area.
So
I love being outdoors, and I just, just being in nature is just. So basically, last summer I worked and lived in nature, and I sold my trailer, so I stayed in a tent for most of the summer last summer. And a lot of people think I'm crazy.
Well, I wouldn't say you're crazy. I mean, in the beginning, I would say Jennifer and I have watched. We'll be honest and say, what is she doing now? But it wasn't like, oh my God, Kelly, what are you doing now? It was like, what is she doing now? And it was, I bet you more than you realize, there's probably a lot of people who are jealous or maybe envious of you doing that. I think a lot of people, I always mention my friend Chris Hall, who's sold everything and rode his motorcycle all across Europe and Spain and all over, and he loves it.
I've had a few people who've said, "Oh, I just wish I could do what you're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how do you? So let's talk about that. Like you made the decision to do that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Is that all it was? Was it just a decision? Said.
Part of it was financial.
Okay. First,
just straight
money
up.
Isn't everything, but you got to have it to live, right?
Yeah. And but that wasn't the, I guess just when I gave up the reflexology, I really kind of took stock of what jobs have I worked, what careers have I had, and I've had probably about 5 careers in my life, or more, or 10, I don't know.
Sure.
So I was like, how can I take all the bits of all those jobs and careers that I liked and make a job or
put it into
something. And so I've just slowly been like doing that and like I said, kind of curating my life how I want to live it.
Yeah. And did you get support from family, friends? Did they tell you, what are you doing? What are you create? Did they try to talk you out of it?
Not really.
They were just there and said, hey, if that makes you happy, you should do that.
No, I have some supportive friends.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I think my parents were concerned.
Well, it's fair, because you never really stop being a mom or a dad, at least you shouldn't, right?
They're like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, you're going to live in a trailer?
I can see your dad.
Oh, yeah. My dad was very concerned. But, I think now that he's seen me do this for a couple of years, he's like, oh, she can make this work.
Well, that's like going off to school for the friends. Well, you don't want to do that. What do you want to take basket weaving for? Yeah, no. So I can't say that the whole journey has been, positive and uplifting, but the majority of it has been. But the biggest thing I learned was to admit that I could actually feel negative feelings. Yeah.
Because I never did that before. I would only show people my shiny, happy life on Facebook, which is what 95% of the people do. Mm-hmm. But I would never even admit that I was struggling or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Or tell people or show people that. So now
you can say, hey, I'm having a day. Can I talk? Do you ask for help?
Sometimes. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
But mostly I'm like, oh, now I just recognize it and I'm like, I need to do this for me. Mm-hmm. And so I do what I need to do without shoving it down and ignoring it. Right. I see. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm actually going to acknowledge that this is happening or acknowledge that I have this feeling. And I don't know. So.
I think that's a great example that you're sharing, because that's especially, and I have to go back to some interviews that I've mentioned, males typically don't want to say, I am having struggles. I don't want to go to a counselor, blah, 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 whatever that looks like, talk about it. More and more seem to be, I think. But why is it so hard to ask for help? Because most of us, like if somebody came to us, if you came to me and said, hey, David, could you help me with something? If something I can do, I'd be like, sure.
Right.
And we feel good because you're like, wow, she thought enough of me to ask me for help.
Exactly.
But then turn it the other way around, and I'm not even sure that we're always necessarily thinking, I wonder how hard that was for Kelly to ask me for help.
Right.
Because I don't like to ask for help. I ask for help every day. I'm totally lost at a lot of things, right? And I'm like, help. And I've gotten better at it too. Why is that so difficult, do you think, for us, most of us, to ask for help? Does it make us feel weak?
Yeah. I think people don't want to admit they need help. And like you said, mental health was such a stigma before.
Yeah.
And nobody admits we have problems. We just sweep those under the carpet.
Yeah. Well,
and I guess, depending on your upbringing.
It's easier in the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
In the moment.
For sure.
Later it builds up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And after a lifetime of doing it, then it just gets easy because that's how you always do it, right? It's just
or you don't feel like it matters. You know, if you get used to that, it's a habit, right?
Right.
Like you say, well, it doesn't. Nobody would really care anyway,
right?
You know,
yeah.
I don't want to bother anybody.
And
I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to bother you. I always say to people, like, say, listen, if you ever need anything, give me a call.
Right.
You know, if somebody passes away or something like that, and then I usually follow up and say, and listen, I really mean that because I know everybody's saying that to you right now.
Right.
But I really mean that. I want you to know that it's not a bother. You should call me. Yeah. So when you reach for that phone and you want to, and then it feels like a weight of bricks, right? Like to press dial. Please press dial. That's what I try to say. You know, it's not a bother.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And you being the soul that you are, and you love to help people. Yeah. Are you doing that when you're at the conservation area? Like what exactly are you doing there? Like you're not just raking leaves and...
No. Maintenance around the park, and I work at the gatehouse. I take the money, you know, when people come in.
You don't get to keep the money, eh?
No, I don't get to keep the money. But just chit-chatting with people. Sure. I actually love the customer service part of it, you know, and that's one of the parts of one of my former jobs that I've done that I loved, was just the face-to-face, one-on-one with people and just doing customer service.
Yeah.
And so I get to do that, and I get to drive around in the cool Gator, and, and you know, again, chat with people around the park.
How's it going today?
Yeah. I get to do, I know this might sound weird, but...
You say that about everything you're going to say. This could be weird.
This is going to be weird. I love cutting grass.
Oh, you know what? Yes.
I just put my earbuds in, and I just drive around, listen to my podcasts.
I think a lot of people love doing that.
I'll cut the entire park of grass.
Wow. Is that a riding lawnmower?
Yeah, of course.
Casual.
It takes 8 hours on the riding.
Oh, crap.
About 8
Let's
hours
do that
a week.
On a push mower.
About 8 hours on a week. Yeah. But I love
you look
it.
forward to that,
I'm
right?
always, I'll go cut grass.
My dad was like that. He always loved cutting the grass. And of course, as a teenager, like, I don't want to cut the grass. But I learned later in life, I can't really do that much. Actually, my son does it now. But, just because of my back.
It's a huge satisfaction when you're done. You're like, oh, it's all cut.
He wouldn't admit it right now, but he gets the AirPods in there and he gets going. And it's it takes him 15 minutes. It takes him longer to get it out of the garage and fire it up than it does to do the whole thing. But yeah, so that's happy space for you, and
I call it my happy place. That's exactly what I call it, my happy place.
Well, isn't that where we're supposed to be?
Yeah, for sure.
Like you know, you know, I can relate to a lot of your saying. I mean, I work mostly on my own, you know, and been on my own a long time and that stuff, and I just go like, like when I see other people in jobs, careers, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
That they just, and I think, why are you doing
Stressed out, working 70 hours a week. And
why are you doing that?
No.
Well, what is the reason we're doing that? It's money. You know, it's like, well, I get paid enough so that I won't quit, but they won't pay me enough that I could. Right?
But a lot of times it's more money to get more stuff.
Well,
and I don't really need stuff.
Yeah. I like stuff. But I do appreciate my surroundings more than I did previously in my other life, whatever that was.
And it's fine. You can work and get money and buy stuff.
If that makes you happy.
And if you appreciate your stuff, then great.
Yeah.
But
that's probably one of the things Jennifer and I love about the motorcycles.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's like, it's different than a car. It's like we're looking around and we're checking out. And I don't know how many times I've gone out, you know, as a motorcycle rider, you go out that way towards Oil Springs, Petrolia, whatever, and you go find country roads. And I've been down this road 100 times. I never knew that was right there. And I was just down here last week. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get that. Your surroundings, your happy place. So you're in your happy place most of the time.
I am.
Yeah. So you stay out of the conservation area and you live in, like, they give you a place to live?
No, it's just a day use park. But I camp across the street from the conservation area.
So you live across the street. Yeah. What about cell phones?
Cell phones?
Are you do you have a cell phone out there?
Yeah.
So you're not completely, you're not living off the grid.
No.
Not that
No,
far.
I have some creature comforts.
Yeah. Besides the cell phone, what's that?
I have my phone and I watch my little videos before I go to bed and whatever. Right. Like
yeah. It's your portable TV.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right.
What else? What else comforts? Oh, I always have books.
Yeah, I was going to say you read
I
a lot.
usually have,
if you could see, there's a ton of books over there. There's a ton of books over here. I thought I had a lot of books. You're ready for, we'll get you a bookshelf for Christmas. Right? So, what about when you're not working? Or do you even, is this work to you?
Well, a little bit at the conservation area because, it's more scheduled, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm doing my own thing, I kind of do my own winter thing, too. But I can schedule it however I want to schedule it.
So that's a seasonal thing. So now here we are hanging out, and it's winter time really for you. So what do you do to get through the winter?
So another funny story that came out of me selling all my furniture and moving into a trailer was probably about a year later, a friend contacted me and said, "How did you do that? How did you just sell all your stuff and purge and downsize?"
Yeah.
And she says, "I need help with that."
Oh.
So I went and probably helped her for probably a good, 4 months, something like that.
Interesting.
And I found that I had a knack for it, and I found that I really enjoyed it.
Helping people.
And,
free spirit.
And taking that, disorganized bookshelf and making it look neat and tidy and getting rid of the things you don't need.
Yeah.
So I just started helping people declutter.
So there's a bit. No, that's a business, right? My sister does that as well. Yeah.
So
did that. So you doing that still? Or,
so I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing some odd jobs.
Yeah, you said you were raking leaves.
Yeah, I'm raking leaves, and again, the nature, the
helping
outdoors,
someone,
helping somebody, physical exercise.
Yeah.
I felt great.
Yeah.
You know, like the first day at camp, my son's helping me. So the first day we did it, I said, "Oh, I can't wait to get into my Epsom salt bath because I can't move."
Wait,
like after 30 minutes of coming home, I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't have sat down." But
there's a couple of factors in there.
Each subsequent time I've done it, we've done maybe 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And today, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't feel stiff. I'm still going to enjoy my Epsom salt bath.
Right.
I do that pretty much every night.
Yeah. And that fills the soul for you, right?
It does. And I've been doing a little pet sitting.
Pet sitting.
Pet sitting.
I've heard so many stories about pet sitting
and dogs.
Cats. Where? Oh yeah, there's one here somewhere.
Yes, there is. Yeah. So.
No, Jennifer.
So it's
not getting a cat.
Filling my heart with all these wonderful things that I like to do. People need the service, and I help them, and I'm happy, and they're happy, and
you really are rich.
I am rich, right in here.
Yeah. No, I mean that when I say that. That's great. Yeah. I'm so thrilled for you because known you a long time and seen some of the things you've talked about and wondered what the heck, and other times went really and just but seeing you. Even when I pulled up here, you were looking for me because I was kind of lost, and you're smiling. No, you're smiling. You're just happy, and it's real.
Yeah.
And it's not just, it's here to here. That's great though, right?
Yeah.
And your kids must be happy to see mom happy too.
Yeah. And I felt I'm pretty busy in the summer when I'm working and I'm not in Sarnia. So I'm a little bit more infrequent coming to Sarnia. So I've really felt like I've really reconnected with the kids more being in Sarnia now. So
especially since they're they're getting busy, doing their own thing, whatever.
So that's been nice too.
Yeah. What about travel outside of Sarnia? Is that, have you done any of that, or is that on the list? What's the bucket list?
I love travel. Right now, I actually did a lot of travel during COVID because gas was cheap.
Right.
Day trips.
Sure, yeah,
right?
whatever.
Because and they were all outdoors.
Yeah, right.
You know, but I got to like really appreciate Ontario.
I know, right?
Whereas I was always like, oh, let's go to Florida, let's go to Mexico, let's go to the States, let's go here, let's go there. I've just gotten such an appreciation for Ontario that I'm like, I don't need to go anywhere else. There's so much to discover.
I know. I agree with you.
It's like it's the motto or something.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm really bad at
No, it's
mom
the Kelly.
jokes.
It's the Kelly I know. I was like, wow. Here we go. Don't worry, I'll throw one back at you before. It's true though. Like we discovered that too, even with the motorcycles. You know, it was like,
for sure.
And you know, like we'd like to just kind of maybe go somewhere warm in the winter, but then come back here and travel across Canada, beyond Ontario, right? So, so where did you go? What did you get to see that maybe you hadn't been to before?
Collingwood, the caves.
Yeah.
We did the hiking in the caves with a friend and I, and Stratford.
Oh yeah.
I actually don't ever remember being to St. Mary's before.
Oh.
But during COVID and then kind of subsequently after, I've been to St. Mary's like a bunch of times.
It's beautiful down there.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
I was there last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Friendly town and all that stuff too. Yeah.
Lots of travel to London, a little bit to Toronto, but that was more like to see a friend later on down the road, not during COVID.
Right. I don't
Not
think there's a
during COVID.
I don't think there's
no COVID police anymore.
I don't think they can come back. There's a statute of limitations.
No retro.
Or whatever. Yeah, whatever. We're going after that Kelly Graham. Yeah.
And gas was cheap, so that was great.
Yeah, that's right. I know, right? Compared to, well, what do you call cheap? Like,
well, it was during COVID. It was under $1. It was like 80 cents or something, wasn't it?
Ooh, that's cheap.
Yeah, no,
I know. It was compared to like,
Anyway, no, I don't know. I just got to appreciate it much more.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. So you separate yourself from the busy and the stuff that gets in the way a lot of times for people. Does that? I always ask dangerously ask the politics question. Is that something that you follow at all, or do you just go?
Not at all.
Yeah. No. Hey, you know what? It's as much as I do, little as I don't. Whatever. It's draining, and that I
honestly.
Do you think your vote makes a difference?
Not really.
No. Yeah. But, I think more people are thinking that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever. It's going to be.
I don't.
They're not going to find you anyway because you're living in a tent down the street.
On the street.
Well, you know what I mean. No, down the street.
Oh.
Or I meant across from where you work. Anyway.
I don't do a lot of the things that evoke negativity.
Right.
Like I don't watch TV.
No?
No.
Nothing at all. No Netflix.
No.
Yeah.
Currently, I just bought off somebody from Marketplace the first 5 seasons of House MD. You know, I never watched that
was
when it
100
was.
years ago.
I know, I never watched it when it was actually on TV.
Great show.
I know. So
Love it.
I started watching little like 10-minute clips of it on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And I love it, and I was addicted to it. And then I saw someone had this seasons 1 to 5 for sale on DVD, so I watch it on my laptop.
Do they still sell DVD players?
I have it on my laptop. That's it.
I know. I have DVD
ancient.
collections of everything at home, and it's like, what are you going to play that on? I don't know.
And I've actually made my way through like the Big Bang Theory DVDs.
Yeah.
So I just like.
Oh, I never knew. Have you always been like that?
I
never
just
watched TV?
No, I used to.
Yeah.
But I don't like watch news.
Yeah.
I don't read the paper.
I don't watch CNN.
Like
you know
I don't.
what CNN stands for?
No.
Constantly negative news.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
a good one. Yeah, no, that's definitely draining. So
Yeah.
I just don't do the things that are like, why?
I'd be happy.
Why would I?
If we could get rid of our TV, probably.
Yeah,
I'd be okay. I don't know if Jennifer would go for that or not.
Yeah. And I've even found, like, the odd time I have watched, like, I've gotten into a few series on Netflix or something, and I just find that sometimes it'll, like, I know this sounds weird. How many times have I said that? But it actually makes my body physically feel yucky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I'm like, ew. Even if it's like kind of an uplifting show.
Yeah.
But it's like a drama, so then you have the drama, and then you're just like, I'm like, this doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah. You don't do drama.
Yeah, I just don't like drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. It's so many people have drama in their life, right? How do you remove that? Like, do we all have to go work at a conservation area and live in a tent across the street, or can we? You know what I mean? Like, can we do that without leaving the city, kind of thing?
I think you can.
Yeah, I agree.
One other thing, so obviously I downsized my life.
Yeah.
So not having a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Really helped, like, to feel better. But the biggest thing was I downsized my schedule.
Oh, yes.
During COVID, obviously. Yeah. And then once things started to add back in, I didn't feel the need
You didn't add everything back in, eh?
I didn't add hardly anything back in.
Yeah.
You know? I just actually probably 2-3 months ago made a list of things that I wanted to, things that were still yet to add.
Right. Oh, I see. And deciding whether you will or not.
Yeah.
Do you have a car?
Do I have a car? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're still paying for the gas.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But I imagine you use that like minimally. You know what I mean?
I use it for like my little odd jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But you do a lot of walking and stuff. Do you still, or do you just stick? Do you take the winter off from all of that, other than your leaf raking?
I'm a little bit of a winter wimp. I don't like the. Am I allowed to say wimp? I'm
That was weird.
You know, but during I keep referencing COVID, but it really did change a lot of people's lives.
It certainly did.
But I embraced winter during COVID. So I'm actually, like, I used to hate winter, and I did not go out, and I did not enjoy it, and I wouldn't go out and do, like, a winter sport.
You really were a wimp.
I was. But during COVID, I bought myself a pair of snow pants and a pair of hiking boots, and the hiking boots were my best investment.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
That's amazing. What's next for Kelly?
Well, there's always something on the horizon.
Yeah?
But I'm not sure I know what.
Just don't know what that is yet?
I'm not 100% sure.
You're thinking about something?
I have ideas in the...
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I really had to bring back because I missed was singing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You used to come to karaoke all the time.
Yeah.
So where do you do that now? So you go out and do karaoke, or are you doing theater, or what's...
So I used to sing in a chorus.
Oh, yeah, right.
A cappella
harmony,
4-part a cappella harmony. And left that. Used to sing in a quartet when I sang.
I forgot about that.
And it's been actually karaoke on my little YouTube was one of the things that got me through COVID.
Everybody does karaoke on YouTube now. They don't need karaoke guys anymore.
But that was one of the things that I did when I was isolated at home. That was one of those tools,
myself. Right? You had
yes,
That's
it
good.
Was. Anyway, no, I'm back with my quartet, and we have a new lady singing with us. And it's pretty exciting. So we're just in we've only practiced a handful of times. So
good for you.
But I'm back singing. So that was one thing I really wanted to add in, and
good for you.
Just So
Kelly, I'm so thrilled that I reached out to you and said, how about an interview? And believe me, we were really figuring out how we were going to time this together.
And I really want to say that this is totally not my thing.
Yeah.
And I dislike talking in front of cameras. And that's why I haven't started my own YouTube channel, because I don't like talking in front of a camera.
Just do it. They have what do they call them? VTubers.
Okay.
So it's like this character that you can design, and then you talk, and it moves its lips to you. So they never see they never see you. I could show you how to do that.
But
do a podcast.
I have had this motto probably for at least the last year, if not the last 2 years, is do something every day that scares you. And so this is my scary thing for today.
Wow.
And I told my friend the other day, I said, do you know why I said yes? Because I wanted to say no.
Well, I'm glad the one you said no to. That's a great, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad I could be the one.
But,
right?
Yeah. Of course, having a conversation with you is very comfortable.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And who knows, who even sees the camera over there?
Nobody watched the show with David Burrows.
Nobody sees the camera over. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you don't even know that it's.
Well, you said that in the beginning. You said, "Well, do I look at the camera?" I said, "No. You and I are just having a conversation, right?" And and honestly, we haven't talked and sat down in a long time since some of the stuff we went through. You know, maybe online a little bit or whatever. But so this was our catch up, and you shared some very personal things and your journey. And I know there is somebody out there watching that's going to go, I can do that too. And that's why I said to you originally when you were kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I said, everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
And you shared just a piece of yours. I know there's a lot more, but thank you so much for being my friend and giving me this time. That's awesome. And we helped her step out of her box today.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. So now what you got to do is click the like and the love button, everybody. But, I say click the share button so we can share Kelly's story to, who knows, impact somebody else and all the other people that I have here on the show as well. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye-bye for now. Thanks. That's it.
You're welcome. Thank you.